Jillian Hayes tonight making history for Cincinnati. We'll talk more about her as the game goes along, but the program's all-time leader in games played now, suiting up for 128th contest, and she's a big part of that inside game for the Bearcats, nearly averaging a double-double this season for Cincinnati. Just about ready to tip off, and we are underway. Cincinnati controls first with Ariel Jackson. Over to Tanea Hilton, coming off a down game against TCU. She was just 2 of 9 from the floor, scored 4 points. Dumped down inside here to Hayes, and misses the first shot of the night. Oklahoma State starting lineup, a 4-guard look for Coach J.C. Hoyt. It is Gray, Aussie, Smith, Hurd, and Magassa. Touch inside here from Magassa, the transfer from Rhode Island. Right back to the basket player, too strong off the window. For the Bearcats, mentioned Jillian Hayes getting the start today along with Hilton. The 2 Jacksons and Ndiba rounding out the starting 5. Here's Hayes with 10 to shoot. She'll try the long 2 and banks it in.
So we're going to hear a lot for Jillian Hayes here tonight. She's playing the most minutes for the Bearcats and is their #1 offensive option.
Coming into this game, it's been a key emphasis for Cincinnati to get better looks for Jillian Hayes. Has had to do a lot of dirty work this season. Great look again for Magassa, but it won't go down. Really the lone player inside for Oklahoma State, providing a presence down there. Really surrounded by shooters on the perimeter. For Reagan Jackson, she's been very good over the last handful of games for Cincinnati. But a lot of attention with Hayes so far in this game. No dice that time. Hurd leading the charge, coast to coast for Oklahoma State. And the first points for the Cowgirls go to Staley Hurd. Such a talented player. Head coach J.C. Hoyt feels that Staley Hurd's playing some of her best basketball this season. Catch and shoot, Reagan Jackson rattles out. Rebounding is going to be so key tonight, Stephanie, for Oklahoma State. The way they play, up-tempo, they want to get it and go right away. Open 3 for Aussie won't go down.
That's right, and that's one of those other points that Oklahoma State, they want to push the ball, they want to play fast. And Coach Merriweather said for the Bearcats, they want to try to slow the game down.
Offensive rebound, Hayes and the stick back. The rebounding is actually a strength for both teams. So coming into this game, we talked about one team's weakness is the other team's strength. Tonight, it's a matter of which team rebounds better. It's kind of a iron sharpens iron situation.
That's right. Oklahoma State has 6'6" Magassa there underneath. For sure going to get a lot of rebounds here tonight.
Finally gets one to go. A tough start for Magassa. But that's her first point. 3 minutes in, no stoppages. This is actually something Cincinnati worked on coming out of the last game. Against TCU, there was not a media timeout until well under the 5-minute mark. It was close to the 2-minute mark, a long time without a whistle. Finally a stoppage there, but she said, Coach Merriweather did, we've actually practiced extended stretches without stoppages. And like you said, Stephanie, forcing our players to slow it down, manage the game, don't take quick shots if you realize the players around you are gassed.
Right, it's all about game management, picking up on those cues on when to slow the game down. You don't have to continue to play fast.
Both teams going to the bench. Oklahoma State will do that a lot, the way they play up tempo. Get fresh bodies in on pretty much every stoppage. It's poked away from Gray and a turnover for Oklahoma State. Brianna Byers taking it end to end, and a good contest at the rim by Hurd to alter the shot.
I think Byers was expecting a little bit more contact there, put a little bit more behind the shot.
Heward on the drive, now the kick, extra pass, and Hurd is too short. Gets her offensive rebound. Gray steps into the 3. The shots are not falling from long range for Oklahoma State. Reminiscent of the last game, the loss against Kansas. On the drive, Hilton got bumped and will head to the free throw line. J.C. Hoyt, her 3rd year with Oklahoma State, and what a season it's been, a whirlwind. 12-2 record, one of the biggest surprises in the Big 12. But she welcomed a child a couple of weeks ago, back in December. Missed about 2 weeks. She told us leading into this game that she's missing less and less time now, maybe a shoot-around or a film session here and there, but she told us she's so proud of this team and this staff, Stephanie, because she knew that when she had to miss a practice or a game for a couple of minutes or for a couple of games, there was not going to be a drop-off with the culture and a drop-off in the effort when she had to step away.
That's right, and actually the baby has made the trip to Cincinnati through the snow.
There's husband and child. So Coach Hoyt manning the sidelines and giving duties off to the husband. That is baby Harlow, born on December 11th. Cut to the basket and the lay-in for Praise Egorevba. Tied at 6, about 5 minutes into the first quarter. Chloe Mann coming off the screen, the lone freshman on this Cincinnati roster. Scoop shot won't go down. Heward for 3, in and out. Inside, Egorevba gets the rebound and lays it in.
And that's why rebounding is so important. You got to box out in that instance. Oklahoma State made the Bearcats pay.
Egorevba from Germany, one of a couple of international players on this Oklahoma State roster. Averages about 3 rebounds a game. Down low to Snyder, but she can't make the catch. Miscommunication there with Byers, and it would be Oklahoma State basketball when we come back. 2-point lead for the Cowgirls, more than 5 minutes in. Hoyt told us that she's so proud about this team. They're a joyful group. They have fun together, no egos, no attitudes, and that's exemplified by having so many players lead the team in scoring night in and night out.
Right, and even Coach Merriweather for Cincinnati, she even mentioned how you can see the joy that this Oklahoma State team plays with and that they are a cohesive unit. And that's exactly, if you're Coach Hoyt, that's what you want other coaches to see in your team.
A 3-point shot not going down yet for the Cowgirls. Another miss for Heward in the corner. Last touch by Cincinnati will stay at this end. Big turnaround in year 3 for this Oklahoma State team. Last year coming off a 14-16 season, 7-11 in the Big 12. But Coach Hoyt now in her 3rd year finally feeling that she has some of her recruits and some of that chemistry that she's been hoping to build in Stillwater.
And that transfer portal was very key for the Cowgirls.
Off the mark there for Hurd. We'll mention that as the game goes along as well, but 4 key transfers for Oklahoma State, helping develop that identity, the style of shooting and pace and up-tempo offense that the Cowgirls want to play. Then to shoot for Mann coming off the Byers screen. Hilton lines up the 3. And Heward the rebound. Down low to Magassa. Good footwork inside, better defense from Ndiba to knock it away. It will stay at this end. We mentioned those transfers a moment ago for Oklahoma State, all of them providing something a little bit different. Micah Gray, certainly the scoring, Heward, the shooting punch off the bench. Alexia Smith, the ball handler, the defender, the unsung hero of this team. And Tenon Magassa, the size inside that Oklahoma State would lack without. Aussie knocks it down from the mid-range. She's been with the program for 3 years now. Big 12 honorable mention selection last year. Off the mark for Mann. Cincinnati so far in this game just 22% from the field.
And they're getting good looks. It's just those shots just aren't falling.
Almost a steal there from Mann. Aussie too short from 3. Magassa another offensive rebound. Aussie inside, fakes the pass, now tried to dish it, and it's knocked away. Out of bounds off the Cowgirls. Great recovery defensively there for the Bearcats.
It was. And Ndiba needs to do a better job boxing out, though, on defense, giving Oklahoma State a second chance shot at the basket.
Oklahoma State 5 offensive rebounds to your point. It'll help with Magassa coming out for the Cowgirls. Already 3 rebounds for Tenin Magassa in this game.
And that's why boxing out is so key, because if it's a size difference, Magassa's going to win that every time.
Well, Cincinnati coming off a loss against TCU. They are used to some size with Sedona Prince, one of the best centers in the nation, 6'7". Magassa just 1 inch shorter at 6'6". Hayes out to man. Nowhere to go. Good defense from the freshman Wooten. 2 very similar players. Freshmen that provide a punch off the bench. Fall away for Hayes. Rattles in.
Great shot by Hayes.
She has 6 of Cincinnati's 8 points. Only Tanea Hilton has the other bucket. Aussie gets stripped. Out of bounds off of Holtman.
So going back to Hayes, the other thing that's so impressive about her is she's leading the Bearcats program in games played. And she's such a physical player. Like, she is going and battling night in and night out, and injuries you would think play a role, but she is showing up every day at practice, every game, giving it her all.
She's been a staple for now 5 years. Coach Merriweather said we want to get her better looks. She's not a 3-point scorer. She's gotten 1,500 points the hard way, just with plays like that, jumping up and grabbing rebounds inside and leading the break. Now she'll try to establish position inside. It's knocked away. And back to Ariel Jackson. She stepped up her play in Big 12 games. 7 points per game on the year, nearly 9 in Big 12 games. And 63% from long range in conference contests. Looking for the slip to Ndiba. Langerman got her hands in there and turned over. Almost turned right back over. Smith, the kick into the corner. Aussie. Still no dice from long range. Langerman the offensive rebound again. And a reach-in foul against Jillian Hayes. The glass is killing Cincinnati right now, Stephanie, and that's not something we're used to saying, used to hearing with this Cincinnati group. Very good rebounding team, but Oklahoma State doing a very good job in there tonight.
They are there battling for those offensive rebounds, which are giving them those second chance points.
13 rebounds there, +6 on the glass in this game so far. That's a mistimed pass, and Oklahoma State gets a bit lucky there. That was thrown to nobody. Stacey Jones was the closest to it, but that was a double team. Over to Hurd. Too strong from 3. So far, the teams are a combined 0 of 11 from 3, 0 of 8 for Oklahoma State.
So you got to take shots to make shots. So I don't expect Oklahoma State to stop shooting the 3, even though it's not falling.
A foul inside. Hayes got grabbed on the way up. That's a foul on Hurd. Now this is where Cincinnati, we've talked about it, they make their money. 2nd in the nation in free throws made per game. A lot of that going with Jillian Hayes, who the last 2 games has started to heat right back up again. The previous 2 were uncharacteristic for Hayes. 3 points per game, 7 rebounds. The last 2, she's averaging a double-double, including 20 and 8 against TCU on Saturday. Hayes more or less averages a double-double. 16 points, 9.9 rebounds, about as close as you can get to not averaging a double-double. First in the Big 12 in double-doubles with 7. 1 of 2.
Saying a rare miss, like we've talked about. They're 2nd in the nation in made free throws.
Percentage-wise, 2nd in the Big 12 at 77% as a unit. It's where Cincinnati makes its money. Less than a minute remaining in the first quarter. Oklahoma State by 1. Gray, the pull-up. Yes. Tried that pick and roll with Magassa. Wasn't there, so she makes the shot instead. Big-time impact transfer for Oklahoma State, coming over from Seton Hall. Hayes dribbles it back out, 13 to go in the quarter. Jackson, double team coming, over to Holtman. Now man, she has to shoot it. It's off the mark. A 3-point lead for Oklahoma State going to the second quarter. Well, it hasn't been the characteristic offense we were used to, Stephanie, but still a 3-point advantage for the Cowgirls. They're doing it on the glass. They're taking a page out of Cincinnati's playbook. They are +6 in rebounding and getting a lot of second chance buckets because of it. Pat adding a new chapter to it tonight. That bottom line there, her 128th career game, a new program record. Closing in on the block shots all-time lead, free throws made record, and rebounding record as well. Just a special player over a long period of time, Stephanie.
And it's safe to say, some of those categories, she will become first in those categories this season.
Eclipsed 1,500 points last game against TCU. Magassa, the over-the-shoulder hook shot inside. You have to love the way that this Oklahoma State roster is put together, Stephanie. You've got 4 guards, all of them can shoot. Granted, it's been tough going tonight. But then you have Magassa inside that just adds that rebounding and scoring presence on the block. Makes for a very well-rounded group. And they're off to the races here again. Smith, coast to coast.
So that speed is showing for Oklahoma State.
Last year with some injuries, not having the roster yet, the players that they wanted in the system, they had to go more through the post last year. This year getting to that Coach Hoyt run and gun style. Up tempo, shoot a lot of threes, get out in transition. Man trying to knife her way inside. Turnaround jumper. Yes, right as the shot clock was going down.
I love it. Good ball movement. I love the drive from Man there at the end.
Hurd takes an extra step. Third turnover for the Cowgirls.
Say, looking back at that last play, throwing the ball down the court. And on the flip side, Chloe Mann really working in that time management, hitting that shot right at the buzzer.
Mann's had some big games in her freshman year, career high 15 points back in November. Scored in double figures 4 times. Couple of screens set by Hayes. Good defense from Gray, sticking right with Jackson. Hesitation for Hilton, lowering the shoulder. Can't get it to go, almost got it back as Magassa could not grab it, but it's out of bounds off of Tanea Hilton.
We've seen a lot of this tonight for the Bearcats. A lot of shooting over, ball going to the weak side, almost being just a little bit too much power behind it. Not sure if the Bearcats are expecting more contact, and that's why they're going a little hard after it, but those balls are completely missing the rim.
Cincinnati coming off a game, they shot a season best from the field in terms of percentage. Shy of 50% last game, despite the loss. Coach Merriweather was pleased with that. She was not pleased with the buy-in and focus to the game plan for a full 40 minutes. Thought they did a lot of things well, but that was one area that hoping to improve the focus and attention to detail. Another long 2, that one not there for Hayes. Smith, the spin. What a move for Alexia Smith. Hilton trying to give it right back.
Say, took the words right out of my mouth. It was Hilton trying to give the exact same move right back to Oklahoma State.
Alexia Smith, just an underrated player, not necessarily the accolades or the numbers of a lot of the players around her, but the transfer from Virginia, Coach Hoyt said, is probably the most indispensable player on this roster.
She did. She said she is the difference maker offensively and defensively.
Also spent 2 years at Minnesota before going to the Cavaliers and now wrapping up her career at Oklahoma State.
Transfer portal is an interesting place.
You're never there for very long.
That's right.
Good defense from Jackson. It stays with Gray. Plenty of time for Oklahoma State. double team, trap, and a tie-up. That was going to be a big key, Stephanie, coming into this game. Those ball screens and the defense that Cincinnati was going to play coming off of them. That time a good trap, and it worked to perfection.
That's right. Coach Merriweather has to be happy with the way that turned out. Bearcats sticking with it, causing a jump ball in their favor.
Coach Merriweather said they were going to trap and hedge on a lot of those ball screens tonight. She said if it comes at the expense of giving up some twos at the basket, we'll live with that, knowing how good of a three-point shooting team Oklahoma State is. That's out of bounds, a turnover. Cincinnati very good at holding on to the basketball this year. Jackson couldn't handle it on the sideline.
So this Bearcats program is trending in the right direction, especially when it comes to turnovers compared to last season. They have improved, and with the recruits coming into this team in the next couple of years, Coach Merriweather's got to be excited with how her team is performing this season and what's to come.
That's an offensive foul on Wooten, extending that arm bar. You mentioned the turnovers from last year to this year. They are about 4 fewer turnovers this season compared to last year. It's helped them win 9 games this year. Oklahoma State sending a lot of those traps. Barely through to the corner, and Jackson rattles it in. A much-needed 3 for both teams. The first make from long range overall tonight. Egarevba going to work, and a foul called. That's the second on Jillian Hayes.
So looking back at that 3, if we were going to talk about who made the first 3 tonight, we probably would have guessed Oklahoma State, but Bearcats got their name on the first 3 of the game.
Jackson's been on fire from 3 in conference games, keeping that trend tonight. A couple of free throws here for Egarevba. Redshirt sophomore. Not the smoothest stroke at the line, only 62% on the season. Those are really the 2 players that don't shoot from the line or from the field very well in general, are the 2 posts, Egarevba and Magassa.
And on a lane violation, that made free throw was taken back.
So wave that one off. Stays as a 4-point Cincinnati deficit. Fancy handles from Hilton. Fell to the ground and somehow kept the dribble. No look, Ndiba going to the line. What a pass.
That was a great pass.
No look there from Hilton. Put Ndiba at the line. She's provided an element inside lately for Cincinnati. Coach Merriweather told us that opponents are now finally starting to see what the Bearcats have seen every day in practice. The last 4 games, 8 points, 7 rebounds, more than a block per game, and 78% from the floor. 1 of 2 at the line that time for Ndiba. Hurd buries the 3. That's the first for Oklahoma State tonight.
Hurd, such a smooth shot from 3.
She shoots it at 48%. Turnover forced by the Cowgirls. In transition. Another one goes down. That time it's Gray.
Back-to-back 3s in under 30 seconds.
And Stephanie, have a feeling for a team that was 0 of 8 to start the game. They've made 2 in a row. All it takes, see it go in once, and the floodgates could open.
Say, that's the benefit of being a good 3-point shooting team. You can change the game in a matter of seconds with a couple of made 3s.
Wild shot for Hilton. Hurd has the rebound. Here come the Cowgirls once again. Aussie sets the feed. Couldn't make it 3 in a row. Jackson, mid-range, off the mark. Egarev with the rebound.
So you can tell that Oklahoma State has been practicing their rebounding. They are putting a body on every Bearcats player.
They knew it would be a focal point coming into this game today against a very good rebounding team in Cincinnati. That turnover brings us to a timeout, but Stephanie, the Cowgirls starting to find their footing from long range.
They really are, and this is what we were expecting here tonight. They're good at their threes. They were a little quiet to start, but they have hit 2 back-to-back late here in the second quarter.
Just because we beat Oklahoma State last year, we're going to win again this year. Because at the end of the day, we barely beat them. It came down to a last-second layup to pull off the win.
Right. When she touched on that, she said that the way that game ended, that is locker room material. So she knew that Oklahoma State remembers how that ended. And they do not want the same result here tonight.
It is a very different Oklahoma State team this year. It was actually Anna Gredossi that lost it on the dribble handoff last year, but she's one of only a handful of returners from that loss for Oklahoma State last year. Ndiba left wide open on that putback. A 7-point Oklahoma State lead, 3:50 to go in the first half. Tipped out of bounds off of Hilton. That bucket for Ndiba broke a 6-0 Oklahoma State run. We mentioned the back-to-back threes going into the media timeout. It's been a tough go of it tonight for Aussie. And then Magassa lost it on the offensive glass. Catch and shoot done. Way off from the corner.
Not the best shot. Didn't look like had enough time set for Dunn to get a good look at the basket before she shot that ball.
Gray had it knocked away on her drive. Good job by Jackson to slow it up. Both teams a bit frantic over the last possession or two. Bird banks it in from the free throw line. Maya Bird, redshirt freshman, did not play last year due to injury. Clear out for Magassa here. She's had some great moves, great footwork tonight, Stephanie, but just nothing going down, and then a foul at the end of it.
That's right. Good job by Ndiba. She did a good job boxing out, getting that rebound, and then drawing the foul.
You see the Bird bucket there, the bank in. Not asked to score very much for this Cincinnati team.
Cincinnati is very good at the mid-range shot. That's where a lot of their points are coming from. Just different than Oklahoma State. They heavily rely on that three-pointer.
Live and die, as Coach Hoyt said last game. Lost to Kansas. They were 4 of 20 from long range. Today, just 2 of 12. Another mid-range there for Jackson. Turnaround, Jones, too short. Jackson, head of steam downhill. Back to a 1-point game.
So that's one thing about the Bearcats, and they've proved it in their Big 12 games so far. They may be down, but they will be resilient, and they will not give up. Doesn't matter who they play.
After an Oklahoma State 6-0 run, it's now 8 points in a row for Cincinnati, and maybe more after the Ndiba steal. Cincinnati this year has come back from multiple double-digit deficits. Not all of them have resulted in wins. Most recently, they did it against BYU, being down 13 late in the game. Came back to win. Rattles out for Ndiba. And out of bounds off of Langerman. Good hustle from Bird to keep it alive.
That was great hustle from Bird. She really drew the ball off of the Oklahoma State to get the ball back for her team.
Into that most recent point, Stephanie, the comeback. Cincinnati last game against TCU down 19 in the fourth quarter. They made it a 7-point game. It didn't result in a win, but just going to show that toughness and never fight in this Cincinnati group. That's a reach in from behind against Jackson.
Yeah, talking about that fight, and that was against number 11. And when you talk about who Cincinnati has faced so far in the Big 12, they have faced 2 of the top teams in the ranks.
After the miss by Bird, a little extra aggressive there for Jackson, trying for the quick takeaway. That's her first foul. It's only the third foul called against Cincinnati in this game today. 2 of them are against Jillian Hayes, who's back in now playing with the 2. Jackson the steal. That is Reagan Jackson that time. Bearcats' chance to take the lead, but it's turned over. Hilton had it poked away. 3-on-2 for Oklahoma State, led by Hurd. Jackson off the double screen. Rattles out. Rebound for Hurd. Cowgirls a chance to extend the lead before halftime. That's a travel on Smith.
This is going to give Cincinnati the chance for the last possession here before the half.
A chance to tie it with the 3 with 26.1 to go in the quarter. Magassa comes back in for the defensive possession, takes out Stacy Jones. Another one of those transfers. She came in from Mercer, Jones did, after a few years at Kennesaw State. So final possession for Cincinnati. It's in the hands of Hilton. A double screen look once again. There's the trap for Oklahoma State. Over to Ariel Jackson. Now Reagan inside, the pull-up. Off the mark. And that concludes the first half. I think it's fair to say, Stephanie, not the first half we expected in terms of the style of play for both teams, but at the end of it, 3-point advantage for the Cowgirls.
That's right. It is not what we expected in terms of play. However, this is what we expected when it comes to it being a great game. 3-point difference here at the half. This is going to be a battle.
Last year, it came down to the final seconds for a Cincinnati win. This year, it is Oklahoma State in front by 3 at the half. Once again, another good game in Fifth Third Arena between the Cowgirls and the Bearcats. Nine points for Staley Hurd, leading all scorers. He averages 14 a game, go along with nearly 8 rebounds. Jackson out to Hayes. 10 to shoot for the Bearcats. Downhill, Jackson dumps it off. Good find to Ndiba for the layup.
That was a great pass by Reagan Jackson.
I think everybody expected her to shoot it, Stephanie, with the shot clock winding down.
That's right. She drew 3 Oklahoma State players her way, opening up Ndiba to finish that ball.
Hilton has been a pest in a good way to start the second half. A couple of steals and scores. It's a very quiet first half for Tanea Hilton, but she is picking it up in the second half. And timeout Oklahoma State. JC Hoyt not liking the start of the second half for the Cowgirls. Back to a 1-point Cincinnati lead. Half with a bang for Cincinnati, Stephanie. A couple of steals, a couple of easy scores.
Say, Tanea Hilton, she is such an experienced player. We've talked about how she leads this offense, and her dedication to her defense has shown here, converting into 2 fast breaks.
Hilton started her career at Georgia. Went to Texas A&M for a couple of years. She was asked to come into Cincinnati and lead the point guard duties, and she has done just that. We are having some scoreboard issues. It is 29-28 Cincinnati. It stays that way after the Hurd miss. Bodies go flying. It stays with Oklahoma State. Good hustle from Hurd after the miss to knock it back out. So 29-28, a 1-point lead for Cincinnati. 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Shot clock down to 5 after the reset. Smith, the dump down, Magassa to the baseline, off the mark. Hilton really picking up the pace in this second half as well. Here's Hayes. Cincinnati getting very deep into the shot clock. Muscling up inside, off the mark. Good defense from Magassa. Hurd challenging Hayes, gets the roll. Such a crafty player. Off the mark for Hilton. Indiba, too strong.
2 offensive rebounds for the Bearcats.
Going to their bread and butter. Hayes can't believe it, thought she got fouled.
Said the whole Bearcat bench can't believe that last one.
Smith, no dice. Hurd, another rebound. Pulls it back out. Both of these teams unrelenting on the glass. Oklahoma State did so well in the first half. Cincinnati doing a better job here in the second. Extra kick, Aussie. It has been tough sledding the last couple of games for Annegret Aussie. She was 0 of 7 in the loss against Kansas. Has not made one today yet. And one for Hayes.
Yeah, I think the officials are letting these girls play here tonight. That ball, the last play here was physical. Chance for a 1-point extra point.
Now Magassa was slow getting back in the play there. Hayes slow getting up at the other end after the hip check. Here's a better look at it. Well, they are reviewing something from earlier in the play, I believe. And you have to wonder if that's maybe why Magassa was down behind the play, Stephanie. It's obviously not on that. That is a foul. It's going to be a 3-point play chance. But from my understanding, this is something from earlier in the play that they are reviewing.
Yes, the previous play when Oklahoma State had possession, Magassa was left on the ground. Cincinnati had Oklahoma State outnumbered there on the break. So, and by the way of Magassa's facial expression, it looked like she did get hit in the face.
Oh, we'll let them figure it out, and we'll have an update when we come back. There for Magassa, but we've seen the replay. We got the explanation from the official, Stephanie, and we think that's the right call.
I say, it never feels good to get hit in the mouth, but that's just part of the game of basketball. It is a physical game, and this does look just like an incidental defensive effort to go after the rebound.
Jackson kind of falling down a little bit there as well, bracing herself. And you can actually see her look right there and realize she probably caught the face of Magassa and didn't look intentional in any way, shape, or form. Certainly hoping Magassa is okay. It will be free throws for Cincinnati. Hayes, a 3-point play chance, kind of getting lost in the shuffle of all of that. And Cincinnati, we've talked about it, a very good free throw shooting team. They are second in the nation at free throws made per game. They've only made 4 tonight, but they've only been to the line 3 times. Makes the free throw. And Cincinnati up to a 3-point advantage, I beg your pardon, a 2-point advantage, 32-30. Heward is blocking foul, no offensive foul there, a block on Mann.
Didn't have her feet set there. But the reaction from the crowd, I think everybody seemed surprised that it was a blocking call.
Baseline drive, Hurd, good finish. You can tell, Stephanie, this feels like a game that Hurd down the stretch might feel she's going to take it over.
So it's going to be a battle between Hurd and Hayes.
Here goes Hayes through the double team. Lost her balance. What a pass to Smith, threading the needle in transition.
So that pass could not have been more on the money.
That was excellent for the Cowgirls. Just like that, they jump back in front. Double team on Mann, and it's ripped away. And maybe a bit of a quick whistle. Hurd would have had a wide open layup. But look at this find. Wow.
So that's some team chemistry right there.
Weaving pattern, Cincinnati. Man now turns. Rims out. Excellent rebound, Egarevba. Putting in some good minutes here with Magassa on the bench after getting clocked in the mouth. Downhill, Hurd. Couldn't bank it in. Magassa blocked by Bird. Hilton to the baseline. Bird, reverse. No dice. Wooten leads the break. Wide open in the corner, Wooten. That's an on-the-floor foul. They get it on Hayes. The Oklahoma State basketball.
Watching that replay just looked physical on both ends. Hayes surprised out of everybody, her third.
And you mentioned it, Stephanie. It feels like they've let the teams play a bit today. It's been a physical game, two very good rebounding teams. I think, if anything, that should have been a no call for either side.
Right, they have been letting them play, and I think the Bearcats, more so than Oklahoma State, they're expecting more fouls to be called, and I think they got to get past the fact that the officials are letting them play here today. The game's going to be physical.
Well, importantly for Cincinnati, that was a third foul on Jillian Hayes, so she departs. And Byers is in, can't make the catch, cutting through. And a turnover against the Bearcats, their 8th of the contest. Oklahoma State has 14 in this game. It's been a bit overshadowed considering the other ways they've played well. And gets called for the block there. Free throws, I believe, coming for Egarevba. You're starting to see some little wrinkles here for Oklahoma State as well. They call that an on-the-floor foul, no block, or no in the act of shooting. Hilton takes it away and throws it out to Jackson.
Great hustle by Jackson.
And connects from the mid-range.
That was a huge play by her. She out-hustled two Oklahoma State players to get that ball and convert.
Wooten hangs in the air and buries it. So you've seen that up-tempo style for Oklahoma State. Now they're starting to run that pick and roll a little bit as well. It didn't pay off last possession, but that's what I was alluding to when I mentioned the wrinkles a moment ago, changing it up on the offensive end. Another foul against Cincinnati. I beg your pardon, on Oklahoma State.
Say once again, the second we start talking about how the officials are letting them play, we've heard more whistles here in the last minute than we have the whole game.
Cincinnati changing up the inbounder from Mann to Hilton. Quick handoff right back to Hilton. Too strong. Good rebound inside for Heward. Hurd blocked by Ndiba. Top 10 in the Big 12 in blocks per game inside for Cincinnati. Big block for Byers. Starting to clamp up inside for Cincinnati.
Byers and Ndiba, the two physical players down low for the Bearcats.
Bump foul on Mann. That's her third. So she'll check out. Ariel Jackson back in. Wooten quickly double team. A lot running through Staley Hurd in this third quarter for Oklahoma State. She'll line up the three and knock it in. Bodies tangled up inside and a few players down. And it's Jackson, Ariel Jackson for Cincinnati, and it was Alexia Smith for Oklahoma State. I think Jackson's more of the worse for wear. But the shot counts for Hurd. Stop the play just to let everybody get to their feet.
So looking back at this three by Hurd, we talked about it before. She has such a smooth follow through with her shot.
She is 2 of 6 from long range today. The only Cowgirl to make multiple. Too strong for Hilton. Hurd the rebound. She's having a special game here tonight. Look at that step through. Everything but the finish. Offensive rebound. Smith hits the backboard on the way down and into the hands of Ndiba and now Jackson.
Her whole possession looked a little chaotic. It was just a lot of pressing towards the basket and throwing the ball up there.
Hilton kicks it. Fortuitous bounce to Jackson. Checks the timer, it's at 7. Jackson will fire. Bird the rebound, over to Hilton. She'll take it inside and throw it away. Thought she got tripped. Hurd to Heward for 3. Yes. They're starting to go down now for Oklahoma State, and the lead is at 8. First bucket of the day for Heward. No answer for Jackson. And a rebound going the other way with a foul. Alliance and Ndiba, the guilty party.
So this last play, the three from Heward, the difference there is it was 4 against 5. Had Hilton trailing a little bit, making an unfair advantage there. That's why hustle is so important here tonight for both teams.
And you want to talk about the brand of Oklahoma State, the way they want to play. That was pretty much drawn to a T there. Get the rebound, odd player rush the other way, find the open three-point shooter in transition. And now a lot starting to tip in Oklahoma State's favor. They are at the free throw line with every foul the rest of this quarter. The Bearcats over the limit. Hurd misses the first.
Say foul management was something that Oklahoma State wanted to keep a grasp on, and now the Bearcats are faced with that same issue.
1 of 2 for Hurd. It's a 9-point Cowgirls advantage. Trying to avenge the loss in this building last year that came down to a steal and score with just seconds remaining. Jackson long 2, halfway down and out. 9-0 run for Oklahoma State over the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Wooten out to Hurd, wide open 3.
That's a shot that easily could have fallen for Hurd.
Hurd has 17 points today for Oklahoma State. Quick trigger, Jackson off the mark. One-handed rebound for Egareva, nearly threw it away. Saved by Heward. That's a travel on Aussie. Thought she kept the pivot foot. That's just a miscommunication there, Stephanie. Thought the player was at the baseline and she decided to cut.
Aussie was kind of perplexed by that call there. She was convinced she didn't move.
May have kept that back foot, but called the travel. Hayes, too strong. Got her own miss. The kick, Jackson. That's a 3.
That was a huge point for the Bearcats. Getting that offensive rebound and then out of all, getting a 3-pointer.
Breaks the 9-0 run. Quick give and go with Wooten. No dice. Cincinnati will hold for the final shot. Jackson guarded by Heward. 4 to go. Jackson, step back at the buzzer. It's off the mark. She thrives in those late shot clock situations. Couldn't get that one to go. But a strong end to the third quarter for Oklahoma State. They lead it by 6 with 10 minutes to play. Getting out in transition, knocking down some threes. And Staley Hurd having herself a game. 17 points for the sophomore. 1 quarter to go today.
That's right. Coach Hoyt said that she was challenged in the offseason. They relied on her a lot last season, and this season she has more faith in her teammates. She is leading them here tonight. She is involved in every aspect of the game.
Felt last year at certain points she had to take the game over and put too much pressure on herself too many times. This year you mentioned more depth around her, and you get to see the best version of Staley Hurd because of it. Alexia Smith and 1 to start the fourth. That unsung hero, the underappreciated player outside of the program for the Cowgirls. A chance for a three-point play.
Alexia Smith for Oklahoma State left 1 shot.
Snyder getting called for the foul. And a three-point play for Smith, who has 9 with that make. And it's a 9-point Oklahoma State lead. You mentioned it a couple of times, Stephanie. It feels like down the stretch of this game, 2 tightly contested games going back to last year. You're going to see a lot of Hurd for Oklahoma State and probably a lot of Hayes for Cincinnati as they try to climb back in.
Definitely. Hayes has been a little bit quiet here as of late just because of the foul trouble that she's run into. But Hurd seems to be having the hot hand here for the Cowgirls.
No response for Gray there on the line drive shot. It's been a tough day for Gray, just 5 points. Jackson mid-range. That's been there all night for Cincinnati. 12 points for Ariel Jackson to lead the way for Cincinnati. Dump down Magassa. Good to see her back in after getting the elbow to the mouth earlier. Gray for 3. Hayes, turnaround shot, yes.
Great ball movement for the Bearcats, getting multiple players involved.
Crossover, Wooten, finger roll, rolls off. A couple of stops now for Cincinnati. That's how they took the lead early in the third. It was the defense acting as the catalyst.
Scouting the Bearcats, you got to be well aware that just because you got a lead on them doesn't mean that's going to be the case throughout the game.
Hayes fighting through, can't get it to go. Magassa just stood straight up. In transition, Smith into double figures with the lay-in. Good closeout from Gray, denying that mid-range. And a kick. Jackson got it knocked away and punted it over to Wooten.
So another fast break replay for Oklahoma State. Seems like deja vu. We're seeing a lot of it here tonight.
I think it's interesting now seeing Oklahoma State in person, Stephanie, when Coach J.C. Hoyt said when you live and die by the 3 and you don't make shots, sometimes it's a tough night like it was against Kansas last game. But this team can still be dangerous when they get out in transition. The 3 hasn't fallen at the usual clip today. 4 of 20 once again. But they've made some excellent decisions in transition.
They have. Their speed is what is helping them in those cases when the 3-pointers aren't falling.
Smith got hip checked and going to the line.
So this is a position that the Bearcats are used to being in, drawing a lot of fouls. Calls haven't gone their way on their offensive end.
Hilton called for the foul. That's her first tonight. Rims out for Smith. 67% free throw shooter. Oh of 2. That'll help Cincinnati's cause. That's one area Cincinnati kind of separates themselves from the pack, Stephanie. They get a lot of free throws, but they make them when they do get to the line as well. Jackson getting run over. Unintentional there from Heward.
Going back to those free throws, but it's something, if you're a basketball fan, whether you watch the women's game, the men's game, those are uncontested shots. It's just you at the line. And this Bearcats team here tonight, they do such a great job. And a lot of that is mental. So that just speaks to their mental toughness when they're out there shooting free throws.
Hayes backing down Hurd. Too strong off the window. And a reach afterwards. Against Jackson.
Ariel Jackson and Hayes showing their frustration with that last call.
Where's that one go? A little too much air under that one.
I think that one was going to the dancing.
Well, it has not been the cleanest game for Oklahoma State. That is fair to say. Their 18th turnover, Stephanie. Not too many times. You're -8 in turnover margin, and you lead by 7 late in the game.
That's right, especially a turnover in that fashion. Just no one, passing it to no one.
Although I guess if you're going to have a turnover, at least it's a dead ball turnover. It doesn't lead to transition.
That's right.
Wooten the rebound. Wraparound pass, Magassa lays it in. What a find from the freshman Wooten as well. Under 6 to play, Cincinnati down by 9 at home against Oklahoma State. Bearcats have only lost 1 game at home this year. That was in the non-conference against Seton Hall. Long 2 in Deba off the mark. Hurd. Kick. Heward. You bet.
That was a beautiful pass. I thought she was driving all the way. Kick that out to Heward. Wide open 3.
The lead has ballooned to double figures now, 53-41. Jackson tries the answer and hits. Much needed for the Bearcats. A foul at the other end. Wooten really asserting herself in the lane. Second on Hilton, she gets a break. Mann comes in and puts Jaden Wooten at the line. And it goes to show what we talked about early in the game, Stephanie, as well. Early, we weren't really mentioning Wooten. She played, but wasn't much of a factor. And it just goes to show the depth of this Oklahoma State team, the way they sub in waves. She's been much more active and refreshed in this second half.
We've talked about that trio. She is that 4th player that is so close to being in double-digit points in her stat category. Say, hovering right around 9.6 points per game.
Team leader in assists per game. One-time Big 12 Freshman of the Week. She makes them both. 4 points for Wooten. 3 rebounds, 2 assists tonight. Gets the lead back to 11. And a steal. Poked away from Holtman. A lot tipping in the Cowgirls' favor right now. Hurd downhill through traffic, and more free throws coming. Hurd comes up limping after the play. That's not good for Oklahoma State. We'll check on the status of Hurd when we come back out of the timeout. Definitely gimpy after that play.
However, a big big part of that comeback. They were making shots. They were getting to the free throw line, two things that aren't happening right now. And I think drawing those fouls, getting to the free throw line will be huge to give them a chance to win here tonight.
It's actually been Oklahoma State kind of giving Cincinnati a taste of its own medicine, getting the Bearcats in some foul trouble. And again, we've mentioned it, the difference, however, is Oklahoma State getting more fouls drawn on Cincinnati, but not necessarily capitalizing on the free throws. That one goes in, but just 50% at the line for Oklahoma State today. Up to Ndiba on the press break. Cincinnati down 12 with 4.5 to go in the game. 10 to shoot. Ndiba looking for the high-low, and it's knocked away. Hayes the intended target.
So we were talking about this at the break. So we have a little under 5 to play at the time, and Bearcats seem to be slowing their offense down by 12 at this point, which doesn't seem like the time you'd want to slow down your offense.
That's a backcourt violation. Coach Hoyt on the sideline saying Hayes touched it. Should have been continue on, but not going to win that battle. Turnover forced by Cincinnati. Hayes, spin through traffic, gets the roll.
What a follow. She stuck with it, expecting a foul, but say go with those 2 points, get back on defense.
Dunn sliding the feet, good defense, out to Smith now. No dice, and Dunn grabs the rebound. I'm sure right now for Cincinnati, it's the balance of not wanting to take too much time, but also playing for a good shot. A reach in on Wooten.
So Hayes going through 2 Cowgirls to finish that play. Such a physical player. Like Coach Merriweather said, she's getting points the hard way.
A lot of fighting through traffic, free throw line. Passed 1,500 points last game against TCU, and likely the focal point down the stretch here, with Cincinnati trailing. Hilton had that contested by Heward, and that's a late whistle. Heward can't believe it. That'll put Tanea Hilton at the free throw line. That is one of the players Cincinnati hopes to be at the line. Top 10 in the Big 12 in free throw percentage individually. Makes them both. 8-point game. 3 minutes to go.
This is that press Coach Merriweather was telling us about. Kind of a diamond, a different look. Try to throw Oklahoma State off guard.
It's a 1-2-1-1. Coach Merriweather wasn't sure how good it would look, but trying it late in the game here. Forcing some quick steals, the hope. Hand off to Smith, 4 to shoot. Smith had it knocked away. Hurd has to fire and connects. It's been that kind of night for Staley Hurd.
That was amazing. She's got the hot hand right at the buzzer.
No answer from Hilton. You have to wonder if that shot just kind of momentum-wise, Stephanie, is the nail in the coffin tonight. Despite still 2 minutes to go, that one feels a bit deflating for Cincinnati.
It does. Kind of takes the wind out of your sails.
What a game it's been for Staley Hurd. 21 points, 13 rebounds, her 6th double-double in now back-to-back games. Big swat from Hayes on the good defense. Leaves the Cowgirls 2 seconds to shoot.
So that last one kind of lost the handle on it. Hurt came up with it by chance and saw how much time was left and let it fly.
Big time bucket getter. They have to get one quickly here. Handoff to Wooten. And she didn't get it away in time. Bit lackadaisical there. Coach Hoyt's like, what are you doing? Gotta recognize that. Although I'm sure that's one she can live with a little more when you're up by 11 late in the game.
Right.
Jackson lines up the three. Cincinnati needs it, and it's short. Out of bounds going Oklahoma State's way with 1:38 to go. Dunn back in. Some defense and three-point shooting for Cincinnati. Jackson is out. Reagan, that is. See if Cincinnati elects to play the foul game down the stretch here. It appears they will not. At least not yet. Down by 11. Oklahoma State's going to take as much clock as they can. Down low, Magassa. Backing her way down. And the finish. Cincinnati needs points. They need them quickly. Jackson for three. Long rebound to Smith. Here come the Cowgirls again, and they'll slow up. Under a minute to play. And it appears that Oklahoma State is going to avenge the loss from last year. Finally a foul, but probably too little too late at this point. You can see the improvement, Stephanie, in this Oklahoma State team. Coach Hoyt talked about it. They're about to win their 13th game of the season. They won 14 all of last year.
Say the progress for this Oklahoma State team has been huge. And the other thing that you can see here tonight is they're a three-point shooting team. They have not had to rely on that here tonight. They have improved their drive. They're getting to the foul line, making their shots. Coach Hoyt has to be happy with how her team is performing.
Now Cincinnati going to start dipping into the timeouts. They had all 4 remaining. And this will advance the basketball. So a tall mountain to climb here, but not totally out of the question. Just to keep it with Oklahoma State as well, they were picked to finish 11th in the Big 12 preseason poll. This is one of the biggest surprises in the Big 12 this year. They're receiving votes in the AP poll for back-to-back weeks. They're top 30 in the net rankings, which helps evaluate postseason at-large berths and things of that nature. This is a very good team, and you mentioned the last 2 games they haven't shot the three-point ball well at all. That's their identity. And yet tonight they're learning that they don't need to shoot the three all the time to still be successful. They'd like to. That's obviously a bonus, but they don't necessarily need it all the time either.
Right, it's all about finding ways to win. When one thing isn't going well, you got to find another area of your game that can win you basketball games, and they're doing that here tonight.
Well, if the score stands, Oklahoma State will improve to 13-2 and 3-1 in Big 12 play. Cincinnati on the verge of dropping to 9-5 and 1-3 in conference. Jackson, long 2. Too short. Rebound Heward, and a whistle. Foul on Byers. Oklahoma State, after this game, has West Virginia at home on Saturday. That'll be a 2 o'clock tip in Stillwater. And then a road trip at Houston and USF. A big one against TCU, number 11 in the rankings. And then at Texas Tech. Heward, transfer from Montana State. Her parents both played at Washington, basketball and football. Her dad, Brock, played in the NFL. Her sister played at Montana for basketball as well. Very athletic family. Cut for Hayes, knocked away. And that's going to about do it. 4-second difference shot in game clock, but all but decided tonight. What a game Staley Hurd, another double-double, 21 and 13 tonight. Her 6th double-double of the season.
Such a well-balanced athlete. Just improving her game offensively, defensively. Such a valuable asset for her team.
Down low, Magassa, last possession here. Wooten had it knocked away and out of bounds. Something I know you'll appreciate, Stephanie, for Hurd, as the two-sport athlete you were at one point. She was an all-state volleyball player as well.
I respect that.
She was also a cross-country state champion, as well as a indoor track runner-up in the 800-meter.
I say, and you do see the success correlate for multi-sport athletes in high school. It just brings so much more in terms of physicality, rebounding from injuries, or protecting you from injuries when you play multiple sports using the different muscles. Always encourage young athletes, try different sports.
Well, it worked for Staley Hurd in Oklahoma State tonight. After losing in the final seconds last year, J.C. Hoyt and company come on the road to Cincinnati and pick up a 64-48 victory against the Bearcats, led by a double-double from Staley Hurd, putting herself in early contention for Big 12 Player of the Week. Coming off a game that Cincinnati shot a season high from the field, they shot just 30% tonight. And that in large part did the Bearcats in, along with a dominating performance from Hurd, who we will talk to in just a moment.